Hello, everybody. This is Fernando for the latest Ghosts and Spirits podcast. For this particular video, it is with a very, very sad news that I present some information that has been making the rounds for the past 24 hours or so. It's one of those things now that is trending on Facebook. So if you haven't heard of this particular bit of news, unfortunately, it's sad news. Those of you like myself that are in the like the paranormal TV show fan base of sorts, where I watch stuff like Ghost Adventures and in some cases Ghost Hunters, and even in some cases like Paranormal State and some of the other shows tied to that stuff. You may have heard of the names Mark and Debby Constantino because they would appear on the Ghost Adventure show, and then I believe also on the Paranormal State, although I haven't seen too many episodes on that one. But for most of us, they were introduced to us in the world of Ghost Adventures, and I'll explain my own experience here in a minute. But the sad news is that unfortunately, they are both now dead, no longer living, because of a very, very tragic set of events. I've included the link below because no doubt there's going to be much more information as it presents itself over these next coming days, maybe even weeks. But so far, all the information seems to point to the fact that it was actually a murder-suicide. How crazy is that? Very briefly, I'll talk about it here. If you really want to see all the detailed information, just check out the link below. It's the same info that seems to be permeating all the other websites. But basically, it's like this. Mark and Debby Constantino, who have been married for quite a while, apparently they were having some kind of marital issues to the point that she just recently divorced him a couple of days back, I believe. And when that happened, he just completely flipped. I don't know what the circumstances were, but he was not having it, and so he basically kidnapped her, took her to an apartment. Apparently, this apartment was their own daughter's apartment, and then held her hostage as the police and some of the SWAT teams surrounded it. And then finally, after some negotiations, they stormed in only to find that she was dead because apparently he had killed her and then he had killed himself in the form of, let's say, murder-suicide. So all very, very tragic stuff. The more I read the information, it seems like that there has been some build-up coming for quite a while, because apparently he had kidnapped her before, a couple of months back, and it led to some more domestic abuse, and then that led to the ultimate point where she finally just left him, which unfortunately led to what happened the other day. But crazy stuff. It's so bizarre because whenever you see all the other previous history that was linked to them, like I was mentioning earlier, most of us fans that are in the paranormal world, we all uncovered them in Ghost Adventures. My first experience with them was the Halloween special. I think it was sometime like in 2009 or 2010. I can't remember. One of those years where it was an almost all-night Halloween special of Ghost Adventures, where they were broadcasting live from some asylum of some sort, and they started like at 8 p.m. and I think it was all the way towards like 4 a.m., somewhere around there. And they brought out these couple, and if I remember correctly, my apologies, it's been a couple years now, but I think I remember correctly, they were brought out at one point within that particular special, and they were brought out because they were considered extreme like EVP specialists. Anyone who watches Ghost Adventures knows that the three guys, they were able to capture some EVPs, but these people, Mark and Debby Constantino, they were pros. I mean, they were absolute pros at capturing not just words, but complete sentences and intelligent responses in some cases. And so that's why they frequently came on the show, because they were able to produce some really, really good evidence. That was the first time that I came across them, and then all the subsequent episodes, I think they were in a handful of episodes, like 5 or 6 thereafter. That's when the more I guess episodes that I would watch, I would get to experience them more often. They would frequent some of the other shows as well, but I never really saw them in the other shows, but they were pretty popular in the paranormal world because of their great fan base. They were absolutely fantastic towards fans. They would apparently hold a whole bunch of tours on a yearly basis at various locations. So if you were near those areas, you could actually do like a ghost hunt of sorts with them as a group with other people, and then experience them live essentially as they're doing their EVPs. And they became pretty popular at doing this. But absolutely tragic set of news, especially for Debbie and what occurred to her. Obviously, people are pointing to the idea now that whatever occurred the other day is tied to their previous investigations, that something essentially clinged on to Mark and then took a hold of him. I don't know. That's a whole other world altogether. It's so easy to just look at it and see it as what it is, as domestic violence, domestic abuse and violence, but no doubt others in the paranormal world will see it as something else. But that's up to yourselves to decide. But please take a moment, you'll find clips of them on YouTube, perhaps even entire episodes still of Ghost Adventures. I'm gonna, I guess, pay a little tribute later on this week and find some of those episodes and see them, I guess, one last time. But it's quite crazy to think about that at one point there they were, like, let's say, on these episodes, I guess, happily together and enjoying what they were doing and sharing it with the world, and then at another point there he is holding her hostage, and then within minutes just basically killing her. It's crazy stuff. So check out the link when you have a chance, if you want all the information. But otherwise, rest in peace, Debby Constantino. I'm not going to say it really for Mark, because all indications point that he killed her outright. But if more information comes out later on, we'll be able to see like what truly happened afterward once the investigation is done. So, all right, everybody. Thanks again as always. Take care.